All right, what's up guys? Garrett here with Derange, and I've got Rick from York Motorsports and Viper Machine. So we've been running a lot of Viper Machine stuff in our current vehicles, the Pro XP, also quite a few other vehicles that we've had, the KRX, all that, quite a few years ago.
Well, you resell them for us too. We
resell them, all that kind of stuff. So they're a great product. Check them out when you get a chance, Viper Machine. So here today, it's all about the new H2. So Rick was able to get his hands on one, and he's been down here doing some testing in Sand Hollow. So we are out answering those questions. So the big question we got is, yeah, that's great, it can go fast in a straight line, but can it rock crawl? So we're out here showing you guys how the machine does rock crawling. At the end of the video, then we'll give you our thoughts and kind of tell you about how we feel overall. Rick's got a lot of good input now at this point, and we'll cover that at the end. So let's jump right into the trail riding and show you guys what this H2 can do. Yeah, this is the best spot on Double Sammy. You got to get this turned around, the 4-seaters. This is for perspective on the video so you guys can see it. Rick's gonna go up in the H2, so here we go. There you go. All right, guys, so we just got done running Double Sammy. We had Rick in the front with the H2 on 35s. That's one thing that we did not mention. You stuck a pair of 35s on it.
Yeah.
Did you have to do anything special to do that?
They do require a wheel that is a 4+3 offset on a 15 to clear.
There you go.
It's still pretty tight on the calipers, but it offsets it enough to where it does clear. We used Valor wheels on this. They're one of the few that you can find in that offset, in that size. As always, we use Maxxis Rockzillas. That's really the only tire I use for all circumstances. They've never failed me in any case, and out here they're just epic. So,
well, the big thing is too is we got the same pair of those tires for the Pro. They're sitting in our storage unit. We pull them out at times to run them.
Yeah.
And the rocks and stuff versus the Megabytes, and they're a great tire.
Yeah, so. They are. Like I say, we sell a ton of them. People worry about them. You know, they're soft. Worry about the longevity on pavement and stuff, but I drive on pavement as much or more than anybody. And at first they wear a little bit, but after that they kind of quit.
Hold up pretty well.
And they actually work better the more they wear. So I haven't noticed any. They'll actually outlast a lot of tires. So they're a great tire.
So the other thing too is that as we're out here rock crawling, we're getting video footage of different things, and you know, Rick's been around this stuff quite a while in Sand Hollow and up in Moab and all those kind of areas, and so he's very familiar with cars. He owns, literally, this guy is the guy to ask because he has them all.
Yeah.
From Can-Ams,
it's a necessity.
Polaris,
build parts for all the stuff.
Yeah, this isn't just the straight Kawasaki type doing it. He's got everything. Now he does sell Yamaha and Kawasaki,
yeah,
correct?
I am a Kawasaki dealer. Have been a Yamaha dealer for 33 years. Kawasaki probably 22 or 23 of those years.
Yeah, so I mean, he's got a ton of knowledge riding around in all these. So the biggest thing that I looked at as he was going through the rocks in this, let's just get it out there. Can it rock climb? Absolutely. Does it need new gearing or whatnot to really help it out? The answer is yes.
For the hardcore stuff. I mean,
yeah, for the
like
hardcore
this trail
stuff.
we did today is nothing real challenging, but it's probably challenging for a good percentage of the people out there. And it's no problem. I mean, it's extremely stable. The suspension is off the charts. It's so comfortable and so smooth that it allows you to drive smooth enough that, you know, the belt survives well. If you're going to be in a crack up on an angle like this in a bind, it's going to need a little bit of gearing on the bottom end to drag you out of that. But that's easily solvable. I'm sure the aftermarket will come quickly to that because the transmission stuff looks similar to what's available now. So
yeah,
it won't be long for that.
I mean, you're looking at tuning, you're looking at gear reductions, looking at clutching stuff. All that stuff will come pretty quick.
Yeah.
People are already working on it.
If you notice some of the other videos out there, when they're drag racing them and stuff, you know, a lot of guys are saying that's the clutching taking off. It's a little slow out of the hole, even at high range. It's some clutching probably. It's mainly the throttle curve has been tamed down. They've done such a good job of this. It's ultimately smooth, but it's not going to let you smoke the belt in most situations. So they're backing that off. So any of that stuff's going to be instantly fixable with a tune. But then you have to decide where you're riding and how you're riding. If that's good, if you want to be, you know, smoking the belt every once in a while. So, because the power comes on so quickly with this motor that it'll be really easy to get too much throttle response.
Yeah.
So,
And that's the biggest thing that Rick is bringing up, the throttle response. That's what I've noticed watching the car up close as he was going over some of these obstacles. The throttle was so smooth, and you can hear it in the motor,
yeah,
like how smooth it was.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. It really is.
You know, and it's crazy too how quiet the machine is. We were talking about that, and that's one thing we talked about. We've been asked that question multiple times about how loud the H2 is inside. We had helmets on our desert ride. We were screaming along at a high, you know, miles per hour most of the time. But overall, even without helmets and stuff, Rick has had more time in it. And how would you answer that?
It's unbelievably quiet. I mean, it's just all there is. I mean, obviously the blow-off valve making some chirping noises and stuff, you hear that. Even crawling around, you hear that. It literally takes 10 minutes, and then it will annoy you at first, and then you won't even notice it.
Yeah. A lot of people brought that up, the chirping noise,
and I agree with them. You know, I've got my Maverick R, I've tuned it, I've got all this stuff.
Yeah.
Intake comes, blow-off valve exits right. You know, your intake's up here by your head, and it's absolutely annoying. But it's cool, you know. But some people, without a helmet, it's almost unusable.
Yeah.
This is just so quiet and so smooth. It's like an electric motor other than the chirping noise. So.
Well, then you got to ask yourself, for me, if I'm running around, I'd rather take a chirping noise at times than a loud motor the whole entire time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So hands down. You know?
It's amazing how much, you know, I hate to say I'm getting old, which I am, but you know, it's just quiet. Driving through the neighborhood and stuff, I mean, I just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Because you cannot hear the thing. Another thing that's really of note, because this morning it's nice and cool. I've been riding this thing out here, it's 105, 102, around slow speed, high speed, everything. The heat in the cab, there really is none. I mean, it's really amazing because, you know, the Teryx, everybody complains about heat on everything. But this thing, the tunnel stays cool. I've really never seen anything in the industry like that. So they've done a really good job that way.
That's one thing that we brought up on our ride in the desert. Joe and I weren't even paying attention to it because the back of our legs weren't, you know, melting away with sweat dripping down until I was like, Joe, I don't think it's hot in here. So we started feeling around like what Rick's talking about, and man, it was crazy how much better. So some of you were questioning about that, if that was an honest thing or not, and it is.
It is very noticeable.
Yeah, the cab heat is
out
way
here
down.
in the heat, if you're going slow, you know, everything's hot a little bit, but you start moving at all, it blows that. It's perfectly enjoyable in the hot weather, where some of the other machines, it's blowing actually the hot air worse on you, so it doesn't get much better when you're moving.
Yeah. And one thing, Tayson's holding the camera for us, my son, and on the way over here even, he's like, man, it's getting hot in here. Even in the Pro, you already feel the air blowing up into your legs and then up into your face. So that's one thing we knew right away. And we were in the middle of the desert. Yeah, it was early until about noon, but by the time we were done, it was already like 1:15 or something, 1:13. It was crazy hot. So. And
on all our shifters, that really the main reason we have a boot that grabs the shift handle and closes that area.
Yeah.
You know, it protects from dust and stuff too, but it stops the heat from coming up. On this prototype shifter, I don't have a boot in there yet, and there is no heat coming up through.
So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let him talk about his shifter real quick.
Now this is just a quick prototype. It will look a little different than this, probably be a little prettier when it's done, but we quickly made it, been able to come out here and test the function. Now this shift pattern, which I'll explain, is different than the KRX, how we first started with the H pattern. This is the same pattern we use on all the Polarises. It started with the Pro R. We've transitioned most machines to it except for the KRX, which that's coming soon. But what it allows is you're basically high range here. If you want to go to low, you just grab it, pull it. There's no looking where it is. There's no anything. That's why I've shaped this knob this way also. So if you are, say you're back here and you need to back up. Now this machine doesn't have the centrifugal clutch like the KRX. The KRXs have a little issue on a slope. If you don't make it, it doesn't really want to, it won't freewheel backwards.
Yeah.
These will, but at the same time, if you want to go to high, reverse to high, back to low, you just hit it like that. You don't have to look. Same deal, you can clear to high with this shift pattern. So, neutral, low, that way. The other thing it's really good for, just in general, because you don't have to look and move it around the stock gates, is say which this long machine, you run into that, say you're making a 8-point turn to turn around in a trail to go forward and reverse, it's real easy just to, you know, go back, reverse, forward, like that. So it's not just for rock crawling. It functions better in every way. We try to make them look decent as well. We offer different colors for powder coating and stuff. Like I say, this one I've just left the stock thing in there. We will install a boot on this when we're finished with it. But like I said,
if you're not getting heat either, that's
cool.
The crazy
you're not
part.
getting heat there. They've done a little bit better job sealing off the emergency brake here. A lot of it used to come through there too. But really, this machine, honestly, it is not a problem at all. So.
And dust.
And dust.
I noticed the dust wasn't as bad.
Oh, it's like a tornado. Yeah. Some without a boot on some of the machines, you know, like the Pro R and stuff. It's like a tornado coming.
Yeah, we just noticed driving it around in the desert. We didn't have the dust in the machine, but I always have to tell everybody we didn't have a front windshield or a rear windshield
as
on
well.
it yet,
We don't have a windshield here, so as you put a windshield that creates low pressure here, it will bring heat from everywhere. But there's not much heat to bring, so they've done a really good job that way. But anyway, that's one of our first products. We'll have a bunch of products within weeks.
Look for on our website. We'll have those too. Once he gets it up and running, we'll get some pictures and we'll get it listed on the website as well. About the seat belts, so I posted a little video on Instagram and people were like, oh, cool seat belts. Polaris has had them forever. Tell them a little bit about the seat belts, and that's why I posted them.
The seat belts are extremely comfortable, by far the most comfortable I've ever felt. In fact, my wife, which rides with us on a lot of these things in every machine, all kinds of harnesses, she hates every one of them. This one, that's all she could do is rave about the seats and the seat belts.
Yeah.
And everybody, literally, I've let drive it this weekend, regardless what seats they had in their machine. They're like, oh, can I take my seats out of that and put it in mine? So I'm like, well, yeah, people will be changing seats. Just watch for takeout.
Well, and these pads, they adjust. There's some movement in them. That makes a big difference too. Yeah,
they're not, you know, they're not the 6-point like the old ones, which the 6-point has its benefits also, but they're kind of annoying and cumbersome for people that aren't used to doing harnesses.
All right, so I just have a couple questions to ask Rick, because of course we put in our opinion and input after our Kawasaki event. We try not to get caught up in the hype and all that kind of stuff, because it's a great event. It's fun to be out there with all these machines bombing the desert. But now that Rick's had his chance to overall look over the machine, drive it around for the last few days here in Sand Hollow, up where he's from in Vernal area as well, some a little bit. Let me ask you a couple questions. Okay. So how do you rate the fit and finish over all the other machines that you've been doing?
Honestly, it's probably the best there is. Well, without question, it just is. I mean, the doors inside are shaped this way. They give you more room. But the fit and finish, there's no rattles in the thing. It's really tight. It really is as close, I think, to a car that I've got in the car quality machine, as far as the noise and everything else that I've seen. You know, and granted, like I say, I'm a Kawasaki dealer.
Yeah.
But all this time, I'm always as honest as I can be, because I don't want to sell you something. Oh, you told me this, and then you come back and, dude, if you like it, you like it. I'll show you everything about it. If you choose something else, that's great.
And the thing is Rick has the Can-Am. He's got the Maverick R. He's got the Polaris. He's got the Expedition. I mean, KRXs. He's got them all, and that's what I agree with. Overall, looking at this one and owning, we don't even have a Kawasaki right now. We have 2 Polarises. And the fit and finish, by far, in my opinion, is the best one on any car on the market.
I mean, the closest to it would be the Pro R. The Pro R is really nice. Inside, it feels, I would say, until this, that is the one that's automotive quality inside. The Maverick's not. But it has incredible features as well. I'm an old YXZ guy. I love the gears. I love that machine for certain things. But all in all, for just an average guy to get in a machine and go fast wherever you want.
A higher performance type machine.
Ride good. It's like the KRX. When the KRX come out, everybody's, it doesn't need to be a turbo, blah, blah, blah. I was the same way. At the dealer meeting, I wasn't happy. When I got it back and honestly tried it in all these circumstances, it's incredible. It's just not a drag racer. It took a long time to convince people of that, and now you see how it's taken the market in certain areas. And most people don't do a lot of the hardcore stuff we do. But that was a machine you could put a customer in, and if he wants to climb a ledge here, whatever. Oh, I've never rock crawled. Well, we just explain what to do. It goes slow enough and crawls. everybody's able to do it.
Yeah.
You can put somebody in it without smoking a belt or anything like that.
Yeah.
This, I would say, is the same thing. If you want somebody to go 70 miles an hour through whoops that tall,
Yeah.
put them in it, it just does it. And
Yeah.
it's extremely easy to drive. It's so stable. It really is. It really surprised me, to be honest.
So here's the big one. We get a lot of comments. Oh my gosh, who would pay that kind of money? Might as well buy a Jeep, you know? All right, so here's the big question. How do you rate what you get in this car for the price? So $43,600, I think, is MSRP for this one, which is, this is the top of the line. How do you think, like, do you think it's well worth the money for what you
I think
get?
it is. You know, everything's expensive. I mean, you can complain about prices, but everything's that way. You look at what you have to do to another machine. You know, if you just take the seats simply, you put seats in a four-seater, you know, that's a ton of money. If you have to do the long travel suspension, or even an arched arm, you know, and which I love the aftermarket suspensions, don't get me wrong, but this thing's incredibly durable. The geometry's perfect. It works very, very well. So, and then you match the horsepower with something that's smooth that you're not having to listen to.
Yep.
You know, being loud and stuff. It's just a really, really good product. You know, because the KRX is what? I don't know, 15,000 less probably.
Yeah.
You know, you start building. You know, supercharger for a KRX is
$5 grand. Yeah,
plus
$5
install
grand.
and the tuner and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're gaining 30 horsepower. This you're gaining 150 horsepower.
Yeah.
So,
A long travel suspension.
The long travel
It's
suspension.
already here.
the live
HCR
valve.
would be $5 grand.
Yeah, the base machine, I believe it's $37.99.
Yeah.
It doesn't have live valve. It still has the internal bypass shocks. You lose the GPS and all that stuff, obviously. But for a lot of people, you know, it's going to be perfect. And $37.99 in this category is a really good deal, I feel.
I do too.
I hope they get cheaper, but stuff never does.
Everything's so expensive.
You know,
And the big thing is, you look at the seats like you mentioned. If I put in those type of seats, which we did on our Pro XP, and harnesses, and then do a full bench in the back, I'm $2,500 or more.
Well, and even the cage,
you know?
for once, they've taken the effort to make it look good.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a good profile. It's, you know, really strong tubing everywhere. It actually has two 2-inch tubes down the center of it.
Yeah.
It looks like it's reinforced really well. They do have an intrusion bar add-on if you want to bolt an intrusion bar into it. So I don't know, you know, we change our cages too. A lot of times it's just for looks. This thing looks pretty
pretty
cool.
good.
You know, if you are racing and stuff, it's going to be required to change, but there will be some awesome cages very soon.
Well, and I talked to the head engineer. So the two engineers are with us from Tennessee, I think is where their plant is or whatever. And then also the two engineers from Japan. And he was extensively involved in the cage, and they did a ton of testing on the cage and stuff.
The thing about the Japanese brands, we've been waiting for this thing forever. They've been driving this around for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Testing everything on it. They're real reluctant because they all went through the three-wheeler thing. You know, they developed a machine that was actually dangerous, and it got outlawed. And they're so anal about not doing that. It took them a long time to do this. So if they're making this thing go 90, 95, 99 miles an hour, you can guarantee they're trying to keep you safe, especially when they put a 5th seat in it. I was really surprised about that. There's a lot of stuff I'm really surprised they really listened to customers and input on this machine.
Retractable harnesses in the back on top of just standard harnesses. Yeah, it makes it a lot more comfortable for the kids.
It does.
All right, guys, so there you have it. Our little review of the H2, Kawasaki H2. I guess, well, this one's a Teryx 5, so because we haven't seen the Teryx 4 yet, but anyways, there's our review. Now you got to see it out in the wild, actually rock crawling. You got to hear from Rick that's had so much experience in so many cars, besides just hearing it from us, that overall this machine is a great machine, and it's a machine that a lot of people are going to enjoy, and it's right there with all the rest of them, if not a little bit higher in some areas than others. So again, if you guys want some more content, check our channel out. We've got a lot more on the H2 we've been posting. We also have quite a bit on the KRX and other machines. And then make sure you leave a comment below if you have other questions. We'll go ahead and answer those. We want to thank Rick for coming out and letting us enjoy this time out here doing this. And until next time, go ahead, Rick.
And thank you for inviting us out and doing this.
No problem.
I mean, your content has been wonderful from the introduction of this machine, because this is going to be a slow ramp up. Every dealer got one of these. It's going to be into September, October, till any numbers at all start showing up. It's going to be probably closer to the first of the year before we start seeing other models and stuff. So people have questions because it is all different. Everybody's been waiting so long, hearing the rumors. So you're doing a great job. It's a value to everybody, I think.
Well, I appreciate that, and we try to give everybody the honest opinions and reviews that we can, and we put a ton of money in our own machines.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, to be able to do that and try things out for people. So that's it on this one. If you guys want to catch us later, no problem. Rick, and then this is Garrett with Deranged Off-Road, and Rick with York Motorsports and Viper Machine.
Viper Machine.
All right, catch you guys later.